Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 1 versus 1 on 2 lakes, and I'm going to be using a Berliner Gruppierung. I'm going to be up against Tiberius-Rancor once again, who is going to be using the 2nd UK Infantry Division. And this is game 2 of a best of 3 in the quarterfinals of the 2nd WARNO League Super Tournament ran by Prodos and the Simulated Divisions League. There were picks and bans for this game, of course, and I decided to ban the 11E and KDA. Tiberius-Rancor was player 1 for this game, so he banned the 5th first. So I banned the 11E KDA second, and then picked Berliner Gruppierung, which I think is a very nice division, and then he decided to pick the 2nd UK Infantry, which is another very good division at the moment. But my plan was to basically try and just secure Alpha and potentially try and get a foothold outside of Bravo that I could then sort of springboard off to take the town. So I didn't want to get like bogged down fighting for Alpha. This map very much depends on you getting the initiative. If you can constantly force into the sector that's closer to your opponent, then you control the pace of the battle. And you can contest, like if he was to push in here, he would be contesting me in Alpha, for example. And if I was to push in here, I'd be contesting him in Bravo. And whoever is doing that is getting the +2. It can sometimes happen both at the same time. This map can be absolutely crazy because there's a very limited amount of sectors. Anyway, regardless, going to be starting off with a bunch of Fallschirmjäger Metis moving into the town here with the SPG-9s going to be covering the roads on the flanks. A couple of Fallschirmjäger Metis moving in here as well. The Metis squad's very nice at the moment, so just hoping to catch out any vehicles that are going to be coming down these roads. UAZ going to be dropping off a Pioneer Führer into Charlie on the backside. But would you look at that? It's a bunch of Lynx AH-1s, and I did not expect this going into this game. I've got a couple of Strela 10Ms to deal with enemy helicopters at the start and potentially enemy aircraft like these Harriers, but I did not expect a full-blown push into Charlie. So I'm going to be bringing in a couple of Strela 10Ms and hoping to shoot down as many of these as possible, because if I do manage to shoot them down, then it will kill the infantry squads inside. So I managed to take down one of the Lynxes, 2 of the Lynxes. That is going to kill 2 of these airmobile squads, but the biggest problem is he brought in a leader, and he did manage to find and kill my leader with those airmobiles. So he's managed to take control of Charlie, and because Charlie is a reinforcing point, it does allow him to bring in troops on the side there. And that is really bad for me, because now I'm going to have to deal with this push on the left-hand side. So I've managed to kind of get my troops into position here. You can see I've got a couple of Wachschützen. I've got the Fallschirmjäger Metis loaded back into the truck. I'm going to try and push to Delta, because I figured if he'd put so much effort into taking Charlie, he's probably going to have limited defenses around Delta. So I might be able to do the same to him, and we can kind of flip this map on its side and start playing across the map like so. But at the moment, the main thing to do is just try and limit the amount of losses that I take. Of course, I've lost the leader, I've lost one of my Strela 10Ms. That's about it so far. So it's not the end of the world. Like, as long as I continue to trade well, I can build up enough of a force that I can push back into the sector and take it back. So whilst this does seem pretty dire, I'm just going to kind of take it easy. And as I mentioned, get enough of a force together that can push back. So I'm building up a little bit of force down here. I've got a leader. Got a couple of Super-Yapio. We got the BMP-1PG. Fallschirmjäger Metis going to be able to kill the Lynx AH-1 when it lands with the airmobile. That's actually going to do a lot of damage to the airmobile squad next to it and allows me to take them out. So that was really good. These Lynx AH-1s currently just spreading out all over the place. My Strelas actually ran out of ammo before they were able to shoot down all of the helicopters. So that was a bit of a problem. But killing that off allowed me to continue to drive forwards with the Fallschirmjäger Metis. Unfortunately, this Fallschirmjäger had their transport killed, so I wasn't able to continue on their merry way. Lynx AH1's now going to be using their side door gunners to engage, but here comes a warrior with his infantry. Warrior goes down, one shot to the Metis, which is perfect. But now the Fallschirmjäger have to continue their engagement here, and this is really bad for me because I need to kind of potentially get into Delta. I maybe could have committed everything that I had there just to drive up the road and push that, but then I leave it open to any troops that were in Bravo that could just drive across. So I've got to be a little bit careful. So I'm just selling things off, bringing in more reinforcements, loads of BMP-1Ps coming in with Mod-Schützen, for example, and I'm going to try and push back into Charlie. And at this point, he's now at the +4 because he's full capped Charlie, basically. My Strela 10M, I was hoping that this Bedford would get captured, but it wasn't close enough. If it had been captured, then I would have been able to use it to kill off the Lynxes. The other thing that's really, really cheesy about this helicopter push that Tiberius did here is the Lynxes that come in technically can be sold right here. So he can land all of his Emmobil and then just sell them off to the side. It's really silly. Anyway, Harrier GR3 coming in with the bombing strikes. Harrier GR3AA going to be doing damage as well. Gazelle AH1 rockets clean up all the Fallschirmjäger Metis I sent forwards. And yeah, currently my Strela's here waiting for more ammunition. And maybe I should have brought in more ammunition for them sooner. But currently focusing on building up enough of a force that I can push back into Charlie and stop him from basically using this as a reinforcement point for too long, because otherwise he's going to fortify this like crazy, and it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to get back in there for the rest of the game. So I do have a book on the way that's to help me shoot down some of the Harriers. If I can get the Harriers out of the sky, then I can maybe use the Su-22s, but the trouble with Berliner Gruppierung is it doesn't really have a lot of good air-to-air aircraft, and that is something that he has taken advantage of so far by using the Harriers. But Lynx is going to be coming across here. My book hoping to land shots onto these. The book has massive missiles, 9 HE, so each of those shots just tearing those Lynxes out of the sky. Very good kills for me. And the main thing here is just value for money. I need to get good value for money. Now these Vorpos squads, they do come with this SBW PSH, and this does have a 14.5mm machine gun on it, which does a decent amount of damage to infantry, so they're providing good fire support at the moment while the Vorpos move forwards and get their Scorpions on target. The main thing right now is just to stop him bringing in more reinforcements from this point. MiG-21 going to come in with a bombing strike. I was hoping to kill off the Emmobil there, but it actually missed by the looks of things. Gazelle AH1s have been brought in to deal with some of my infantry, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to have to use an Su-17 to try and strafe those to death. They have very limited amounts of health, so I was hoping to get those 30 mils on target, but actually didn't manage to shoot the Gazelle AH1. The AH7, whilst it did take a shot from the Su-17, it doesn't end up going down. Not that it matters, I don't really care about the AH7 right now. It can't affect much of this these units here. I just need to make sure that I maintain local superiority against all of the units that he does bring and kill them off one by one. So the armoured rifles are going down, Su-17 trying to finish off the AH7 there, but really failing to get on target. You can look at this split, this was really good. My split there causes only one of my squads to die. Kind of unlucky that the Spadi RPO did get hit by that, actually, because that spread was very nice. Regardless, I'm going to have to try and finish off the Challenger here. The only way I can really do that is with the Mod-Schützen, so I've got to keep them alive. AH1 comes into small arms fire and does get taken out. He's moved up this AH1 to try and figure out where my Pioneer Führer is so he can take it out. And meanwhile on the right hand side you can see the Emmobil have actually managed to get overrun by the Vorpos. MiG-21 coming in for the bombing strike to finish them off. I'm looking at this and I'm quite happy with how it's going, relatively happy with how it's going, but I constantly see more leaders, and you can tell that there's multiple leaders here because of how small the area is that I'm capping with this Pioneer Fodder. So I know there's a leader here somewhere, I know there's a leader there, and there's probably a leader to the left. So he's got probably at least 3 leaders in this sector that I've got to try and take care of, and I've got to make sure that my Pioneer Fodder doesn't die in the meantime. And what I should be doing really is bringing up more leaders myself so that he can't just kill off one of them, and that'll be the end of it. The other thing that I need to be doing that I didn't do was bring up supply for these Strelas and the book here quick enough. So currently here's Harriers flying around with impunity, and I'm not really making him pay for bringing those in and using them so carelessly. Anyway, SU-22 going to be coming in with its AT rocket, hoping to take out these M48s, but of course that's going to miss because it's just my luck. In this situation, I can never rely on my own luck to get the job done. Looking to try and take out the other M48, but another miss. And, well, there we go. 2 out of 2 missed. I'm going to have to leave with the SU-22. And the worst part about that is they're not cheap, these SU-22s. In this case, I was trying to use the Cluster 1 to take out the Challenger. I mean, this is a 275-point tank, so if I can use a 305-point plane to kill it, it's not a terrible investment. And honestly, I kind of need to, because none of the units here can really kill a Challenger unless he makes a big mistake. So able to get the cluster off, really good. Harry is now coming in with the bombing strikes though, and he's able to get the kill on the leader. So it manages to kill that, and now it goes back to him. He did bring in some more linked 7s from his spawn back here to reinforce this with more air mobile, but now he doesn't need those anymore because he can just bring in more reinforcements from this point, which is unfortunate. Anyway, SU-22 coming in for the strafing run onto the air mobile, so the Vorpals are able to get the kill there. And T-64 BVK now on the way to push in here and try and decap this once again. But as long as the longer this goes on, the worse it is for me, because he's constantly building points. I'm not really developing my position on the map at all. You're probably wondering why I don't push forwards with these, but like moving my Fallschirmjäger out in the open here towards Delta is kind of pointless, and he could at any point bring stuff down this road like warriors or other tanks to push into this sector, so there's no real point in me abandoning this area. Shilka looking to try and take down the Harrier, but it's spag, it's not gonna finish the job in one run. Ideally the Shilka combined with the book would do the job, but of course I still haven't brought in the supply for that just yet. So he's going to keep up the pressure. Another Challenger 2 going to be coming in there. You can see the Lynx AH1 going to be sold off on the side of the map. And again, these are the Lynxes he's brought in. He's dropped off the Airmobile and they're just instantly selling off the side of the map. So Petty RPO going to get finished off here. All the Modschützen are now dead, but the T-64 BVK going to be getting into the sector at least. And I got a TATB on the way with another Shilka, so able to shoot down the helicopters potentially, and also the Harriers. So that's going to put it back to a +2, but he's now 1,200 points up. And I don't really have a critical mass like I had before. When I saved up a bunch of points down here and made the push in, I could have maybe been a bit more patient here and then had like 2 leaders move into Charlie at the same time with a bit of extra troops, especially like AA or something. But at the end of the day, like now I've kind of lost the critical mass. He's going to constantly bring in aircraft, and I've just got to hope that my Shilkas can stop him, which they're not really doing. The GR3s coming in with the bombing strikes there are going to get quite a lot of damage done. One of the Harrier GR3s does go down, looking to try and take out the second, but not much damage done. There is plenty of infantry here, so you can definitely see the T-64 BVK whenever it's in the tree line. He's got, you know, airmobile pretty much everywhere around here in these buildings and stuff. And he's also got the tank here that's still moving up on this bottom side. So I do have to be careful, but I'm trying to move up the TATB into an ambushing position so that it can engage the Challenger and I don't lose the T-64 to it. GR3 coming in again for another bombing strike. This GR3 actually going for the Shilka. Doesn't drop the bomb. Challenger Mark II. Going to be engaging the T-80B. Really, really close range here. I was really hoping that my T-80B could hide again and I get a cheeky first shot into the Challenger 2. And my 24 VP coming round to the side, looking to get into a position to drop Kokon. gems into the side of the Challenger as well. His Fauchimega Metis going to unload them a little bit early here so that the Challenger 2 doesn't shoot them down the road, because that is a big threat there. And T-80B now going to be trying to engage the Challenger, but it had its gun facing the wrong way. Mi-24 VP going to miss its missile. Now trying to get the T-64 to engage the Challenger, but too late. T-64 goes down. Su-22 does manage to land a missile finally, but yeah, again, too late, unfortunately. Cluster Jaguar going to take out the Shilka. Su-22 does manage to take out enemy helicopter, but is going to get shot down for it. And yeah, I'm in pretty much disarray here. Nothing else I can do at this point. I kind of blew everything I had when I pushed into this area and it failed. After that, there's not really much coming back because he's just constantly reinforcing from this point. So it's very, very difficult for me to overwhelm him unless I get significant amounts of kills. Like kills to losses, that is. So if I get kills without losing anything myself. But MiG-21's going to be coming in there for the bombing strikes. Hoping my Metis can take out the M48, but he's using these very liberally because he's got more than one leader in this sector. Another T-64 going to be coming in to try and cap this. Meanwhile, I do have a leader moving up. I was thinking that maybe I could move from right to left here and get a command into Bravo or something, but at this point it's way too late to really make a play like that. And just a real tough game for me in this one. It makes sense on this map for him to do the helicopter push into Charlie, because this is a map that can stalemate very easily, and I'm using Berliner Gruppierung, which is pretty good in a stalemate. It has rocket artillery in the form of like Buratinos, for example, that can really break down those stalemates, and over time I would get value for money out of my units and he would struggle to do so himself. But Mi-24 going to go down there. Now the T-64 BVK trying to get back into the sector, but completely undefended. Lynx AH-7s going to be able to get their shots on target. T-64 goes down. Saxons in the right side of this sector as well. Bringing in the Su-17 to try and take care of it, but I'm going to surrender at this point because it's been over for a while. Tiberius going to take the second game in this best of 3 in the second WARNO League Super Tournament. So yeah, 16 minutes 22 seconds, kills and losses not too far apart. 2,580 kills to 3,240 losses shows that it wasn't too far off. It's just that initial positioning from him with the airmobile and his ability to sell his helicopters immediately off the side of the map, and also then like instantly reinforce himself, allows him to get way better economy than I can in that situation. So only a big ball of units that attacks all at once would really be able to break through the defenses that he builds up on that left-hand side. And it almost worked. It almost worked. My biggest mistake was just not bringing in a second leader, so that if one of them went down, it didn't give him back the sector, because it almost got to a point where I had control again of that sector. He did have more airmobile on the way with the Lynx AH Mark 1s, but alas, yeah, didn't have any control of the skies because I don't really have good fighters in Berliner Gruppierung. It just doesn't have any, and as I mentioned throughout the game multiple times, I didn't bring in any supply fast enough for the book, because that probably could have scored quite a few kills throughout this game had I had supply next to it. So a big mistake on my part as well. Otherwise, recoverable, I would say this game was, for sure. It's one of those maps where you do have to make kind of cheesy plays like that with helicopters to stop it being a stalemate. and that's exactly what Tiberius went for. And having all those helicopters at the start in the second is very strong at the moment. So there we go. That is it for game 2. Unfortunate that I lost it after what was a relatively convincing game 1, I would say. Game 1 being a little bit more conventional for war game. This one much less so, with all of the helicopters from the start. I'm pretty sure when I watched the replay back, it was like an almost 100% helicopter start, apart from the SAS. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. That's all for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.